Well, a lot to get through with the D23 and all the trailers and everything shown. Don't worry, we'll still do a lot of the quote regular content, but let us get into it. So, probably the biggest and most impressive was Daredevil. Now, I don't think they've released officially the teaser on Marvel, so I have to be a little careful. I can talk about it, I guess, but they're a little iffy on showing, the actual thing. So, what did we see? Well, we got a lot. We got the Punisher, we got Bullseye. We got the original cast mainly from the Netflix show. And I only saw a little bit of the Netflix show, but it was very, very well done. Although they changed a few details I was not a fan of. How much that's going to be carried over, unclear. And the basic spiel of the miniseries is shown apparently this time Daredevil and the Kingpin will have some kind of uneasy, weird bargain or truce because there's a bigger threat. Now, is that bigger threat White Tiger? For those who don't know, White Tiger is a very interesting vigilante character from the comic, and people were wondering if White Tiger would show up. He does show up, so that's pretty interesting, but he may not be the threat. People are already speculating who the threat is, but again, we're not going to get into that. So overall, was the trailer strong? Yeah, it was a strong trailer. We also have some behind the scenes shots, so they're definitely putting an effort in. And obviously, the question mark is after the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine, will they keep this to a very gritty, dark tone like the previous show? And again, this is Marvel, MCU, so they're going to inject, of course, some goofy, stupid, lame ass humor, but hopefully it won't be too much. Definitely what they showed with the trailer is it is mostly serious tone. There are, of course, some jokes. I mean, Daredevil does joke. And I thought it was fairly appropriate for the character. So everything looks great and fine. Looks like it will be a massive success. Is there anything to criticize? Well, they are changing a few things. Like the costume doesn't exactly match up from the comics. And I do appreciate what they did with She-Hulk, at least with Daredevil, with that costume. So the costume is a little bit off. And again, question mark is where does this go with the Echo timeline? Are we keeping the Echo ending, which was a little controversial with what they did with Wilson Fisk? So where this is with the timeline, or much less the Spider-Man films. So yeah, it's unclear where we are in the Daredevil universe and how this is going to slot in with everything else. And then there are rumors that they're going to reboot the universe anyway. So is this timeline just going to get preserved magically? Yeah, some question marks about the canon and how things are, but shouldn't really overshadow at all that this is a very impressive showing. And people were worried that it was going to become a very PG, baby, Borderlands, just, yeah, there's a little bit of violence, but it's all very dumbed down. No, it definitely will have shots where the fighting's intense and the stunts are intense. Again, where are we going to go with this? Don't know. This doesn't really have much relation to Born Again in the comics. That's definitely clear. This is really its own story. Why they even use Born Again anyway? I mean, there's so many Daredevil stories. I guess it's just branding. People are like, oh, Born Again, but it doesn't have much of a hookup to Frank Miller's kind of stories. Maybe Frank will do a cameo, but yeah, there's really no tie into Born Again as I understood it. But again, Marvel's always wonky like that. They will put something out like Infinity War, which has nothing to do with Infinity War, the comic. It just is, I guess, a nice snazzy title, and it's kind of well known, so they'll use it. And obviously, where are the Avengers in all this? Are they going to be in the background? Will we get some cameos? Yeah, a lot of question marks. But for what it was a very impressive presentation. And you can't deny that Charlie looks good. He looks very happy in the role. And they mostly did things that I think the fans will appreciate. But again, we've been fooled before where the trailer was great, but then the actual thing was like, oh, that was a bit of a mess. But we'll have to wait and see. But so far as what I saw, it's very impressive. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Hopefully they will debut the official thing soon and I can show people a lot more. It's very impressive looking, but maybe I'm wrong.